Hey, I'm sure that if you've been online in the last couple of months, furry Twitter got you into a weird trip of anger, hype, and maybe even confusion. We're diving into a topic that's been sparkling a lot of debate online, especially given how popular our fandom has become. And hey, my objective is that by the end of this video, you're able to answer the question, what happens if the furry fandom becomes truly mainstream? So a while ago, I made a video on how interesting it was that furries made it to the big screen and to traditional mass media formats. That video aimed at showing something clear. We've already seen hints of our fandom growing significantly in terms of popularity. From blockbuster movies to memes that even your non-furry friends share, the fandom is no longer hiding in the corners of the internet as it used to in the past. But what was that mean for us, for our community, for our conventions, our arts, and even our identity as furries? Hi everyone, this is Xylee the Fox, and welcome to a brand new video. Let's break this topic down into more organized aspects that can actually explain how our fandom could both benefit and suffer from actually becoming, or keep on becoming, I would say, even more mainstream. First off, the economic impact will be seen significantly. The social consequences will also be seen, and as a matter of fact, the rise of new furry personalities, some real, some maybe not so real, if you know what I mean, will emerge eventually. So stick around until the end, because I want to hear what you think about all this. First, let's talk about pop culture. You know, cinema, comics, and their characters, they all went mainstream, and whether we like it or not, they helped the furry fandom flourish. If you remember how our fandom started back in the 80s, it shouldn't surprise you that out of art and pop culture we emerged. If you watch The Fandom, the documentary on our community, you can very well pinpoint the great benefits of a fandom going mainstream, which, spoiler alert, has happened before. But what about our day and age? Well, it's clearly more evident. Think about Zootopia. Had it not been for Zootopia, I'm convinced that today's furry fandom would look completely different. For so many newcomers, this movie was the gateway. It wasn't just a film, it was a cultural reset that validated anthropomorphic characters for a whole generation. And mind you, Zootopia is just the most iconic example. I made videos in the past suggesting that Disney boosted the furry community since the early 90s, but in recent years, they kinda have been falling behind. Think about recent releases like The Bad Guys 2 and the upcoming GOAT movie, which could potentially help our fandom be more seen in the outside world. Companies notice these types of trends because they are not naive. But there's where it gets interesting. Community managers and marketers are watching us closely. They study furry humor and culture to monetize it. For example, remember when the 9 inches of Mr. Wolf went viral? That wasn't just a meme, it was also a clear sign that people at the top understand what furry humor looked like and how to capitalize on it, even if this might have had the CM fired, right? You know what I mean? The whole point is that markets realized that the furry niche wasn't so niche after all. Suddenly, we saw anthro characters popping up everywhere. New shows, merch, even docu-series. News outlets started covering furry conventions, and hey, even I've been interviewed in a newspaper and live broadcast myself, which is actually surprising given how narrow-minded people from Latin America can be sometimes. And by this, I do not mean that Latin American societies are narrow-minded, I just mean the general public. That being said, I continue. That's how visible the fandom has become, and I truly see this as a big positive aspect on furries becoming mainstream. That's visibility. Now that has good and bad sides. On the bright side, it's clear that merch quality will be substantially better. There will also be more shows with anther characters, and in terms of accessibility to furry related crafts, there might be an easier access to fabrics and materials for fursuit makers, and slowly a reduction in prejudice. You know, people talk about furries more openly now, thing which was not very common a decade ago, for instance. Yet, on the other side, there will be a lot more commercial exploitation as a consequence. Companies will start to mass-produce low-quality fursuits and call them furry costumes. We already saw that on Twitter regarding the Halloween furry costumes for sale, and while some new furries might buy them as a first step, it risks diluting the craftsmanship and passion that makers put in our fandom. I know this might sound controversial, but this actually could be good at the end of the day. Let me explain how. This poses a relatively easy and affordable way for newly come furries to access a fursuit in a market that is extremely inflated. And no pun intended. I know this could also represent a clear threat to fursuit making, but let's be real, and I want to make this extremely clear. Come here. Yeah, come here. By no means do mass-produced fursuits pose a threat to a market like fursuit making. Believe me, the market regulates itself, and if the quality is good and the price is high, people will pay it eventually. Don't go crazy over a cheap option that could never even compete with the market fursuit makers have built. So, economically, we are becoming a profitable niche. Conventions grow at insane speeds, just look at Midwest Fur Fest or AntherCon, and with that growth comes both opportunity and risk. The fandom is becoming an industry. Let's move to the social side. Mainstreaming has changed how people perceive us. On the positive side, movies like Zootopia or The Bad Guys broke cultural barriers. Just think of shows like Beastars or even Sex Life of Teenage Girls, which gave anthropomorphic storytelling or even furries emotional depth. Suddenly, furry wasn't just a weird internet subculture, it was in Netflix top charts, for instance. Reddit discussions on this often say the same. People are starting to see furries as quirky, maybe cringy sometimes, but not threatening. The stigma has softened. Acceptance is growing, that is to say. But mainstream visibility also brings new dangers. We've seen cases where harmful stereotypes resurface, or sensationalized media portrays cause damage, for example. Remember the Kiro the Wolf docuseries? Well, it showed how community scandals can suddenly define us in the public eye, even if they don't represent a majority. And then we also have the case of popular content creators like the Boof the Bear case. Some people speculated he was an industry plant, whatever that means, like a furry character designed and marketed artificially for popularity. And this, whether you like it or not, fuels drama in our fandom. In addition, Boof was not an industry plant, and that's my perception. There is art that backs up his story of him being a furry way before he became popular, but people in general don't take the time to do actual research. That's a consequence of, going mainstream. The mere suspicion shows how worried the community has become about outsiders trying to infiltrate our space for clout or for profit. So yes, socially, we've made strides in visibility and acceptance, but this also means more eyes are on us. Every scandal, every drama, every stereotype gets amplified in mainstream coverage. We are no longer invisible, and that's both exciting, but at the same time, it's a little scary. And this brings us to the third point, the new flow of furries and creators.
Okay, so we're going to be starting off the set tonight with a track off of Come Find Me.
The fandom today isn't just growing, it's evolving. New content creators pop up every day. YouTubers, streamers, TikTokers, artists, even fursuit makers. Some are genuine fans who pour their hearts into this, and others, well, let's say not everyone has the same intentions, if you know what I mean. With mainstream visibility, there's now fame to be had, money to be made, and, well, you know the jazz. That creates a strange mix of authenticity and opportunism. If we're not careful, we'll see more industry plant furries. Those are characters or influencers who exist not because of passion, but because companies see profit in appealing to our niche. Just take a look at Cluely, the company whose TikToks became quite popular these last weeks. We have Clue, the fox, their mascot. He went viral on TikTok, and to be honest, no one actually complained. But this is a genuine industry plant. Yes, it was extremely cute, and the videos were super cinematic, super well made, but it is a marketable tool at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. This shift affects how the fandom feels. What once was an underground close-knit space is now a public arena. For some, that's fantastic. It means more voices, more diversity, more creativity. But for others, it feels like losing that secret, safe corner of the internet that we once had. I am not complaining. I truly enjoyed these videos, and I believe the companies know what they are doing. Yet, we should also know that they are trying to profit out of furry interest and our money. Yes, come closer again. I have a word for you. Don't be naive. Enjoy what they offer, but know they are not doing it for you. It's for your money. And I hope that didn't hurt you. So, what does all this mean at the end of the day? We've seen the economic side, where our fandom is profitable, and that brings growth, but also commercialization. We've seen the social side, which fosters greater visibility, less stigma, but also more scrutiny and risk of misrepresentation. And lastly, we've seen the new wave of creators, which, even if there might be an authentic passion for it, their intentions might mix with opportunism and even potential industry plans. Well, at the end of the day, the furry fandom is at a crossroads. Are we becoming mainstream? Well, absolutely, we are indeed. But the real question is, does mainstreaming make us better or just different? I'd love to hear your take on this. Do you see these changes as positive, negative, or maybe just inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's see what you've got. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing, commenting what your thoughts were, and if you want, share it with your friends. Let's see what they all have to say about this. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, keep creating, keep being weird, and stay true to yourself. Take good care of yourselves, everyone, and see you all in my next video. Meow!